The origins of Paris. 1. Paris was founded over 2,000 years ago. The city was originally inhabited by a Gallic tribe called the Parisii, around 250 BC. This small community settled on the Isle de la Cité, a strategic location on the Seine. The Romans conquered the region in 52 BC, under Julius Caesar, and founded the city of Lutetia. During the Gallo Roman period, Lutetia developed, with thermal baths, theatres, and arenas. History of Paris. Founding of Paris, around 300 BC. Paris begins as a Gallic colony founded by the Parisii tribe on the Isle de la Cité. It develops around the Seine, which becomes an axis of trade and transport. Key date around 300 BC.
Paris, one of the oldest cities in Europe, has its roots more than 2,000 years ago. Around 250 BC, a Gallic tribe, called the Parisii, settled on the Isle de la Cité, attracted by its strategic location in the heart of the Seine. This small community, living mainly from fishing and river trade, benefited from the natural protection offered by the island, a valuable advantage in an often hostile environment. Trade was already active at this time, and the site of the Isle de la Cité encouraged commercial encounters between different Gallic tribes.
In 52 BC, the Roman conquest, led by Julius Caesar, turned this Gallic society upside down. The Romans took over the region, integrating the territory into their empire and gradually transforming local lifestyles. The city then took the name of Lutetia, or Lutetia, and began its metamorphosis into a prosperous Gallo-Roman city. The Romans built ambitious and modern infrastructures there for the time: vast public baths, theatres for shows and ceremonies, as well as arenas that could host gladiatorial combats, testifying to Roman refinement and organization.
Lutetia then experienced a remarkable boom, becoming an administrative, cultural and commercial center. The Roman roads, the stone bridges crossing the Seine, and the local markets made it a dynamic place to live, open to the Mediterranean world. This Gallo-Roman period marked the first true golden age of the city, laying the foundations for the evolution that would make Lutetia, and then Paris, a city of European importance in the centuries to come.
There are few visible traces of Gallo-Roman Lutetia left in Paris today, but some remarkable remains still allow us to delve into this distant era and discover the daily life of the inhabitants of the ancient city. Among the main Roman remains of Lutetia, we can cite
1. The Arènes de Luxe, located in the Latin Quarter. These arenas were discovered in the 19th century. They served as a venue for shows, accommodating around 15,000 spectators to watch gladiator fights and theatrical performances. Today, you can visit part of the old arena and the stands, which have been restored. The arenas are a rare example of an amphitheater in a Gallo-Roman city of this size.
2. The Baths of Cluny. The Roman baths were a central place of social and cultural life. The Baths of Cluny, built in the 1st century, are now part of the Cluny Museum, or National Museum of the Middle Ages. You can still see the remains of the frigidarium, cold room, as well as parts of the walls and vaults. These baths show the advances in Roman infrastructure for the time, in terms of water management and construction.
3. The remains of the Roman bridges in the Gallo-Roman era. 2 wooden and then stone bridges connected the Isle de la Cité to the banks of the Seine, facilitating traffic and trade. Although only fragments of these structures remain today, they are evidence of Roman ingenuity and the importance of the river network in the development of Lutetia.
4. The archaeological crypt of the Isle de la Cité, beneath the Parvis of Notre Dame. The archaeological crypt of the Isle de la Cité houses Gallo-Roman remains discovered during excavations in the 20th century. This crypt displays the foundations of the ancient city, remains of walls, old public buildings, and remains of the Roman aqueduct. Artifacts such as coins and ceramics are also discovered, which provide valuable information on the daily lives of the inhabitants of Lutetia.
5. The remains of the aqueduct of Lutetia, although less accessible, remains of the Roman aqueduct that supplied the city with water from the springs of Hassels, about 16 kilometers south of Paris, still exist in the Parisian subsoil and in some nearby suburbs. This aqueduct bears witness to the technological advances of the Romans in the management of water and urban life.
These remains are today precious testimonies of a time when Lutetia was transformed into a true Gallo-Roman city. They allow visitors to imagine the daily life of this small town which, over the centuries, was to become one of the greatest capitals in the world.
In Gallo-Roman times, Lutetia's population was relatively modest compared to the larger cities of the Roman Empire. Estimates vary, but it is thought that the city had between 5,000 and 10,000 inhabitants at the height of its Roman development, around the 3rd century. This population included Gauls, who already inhabited the region, as well as Romans, merchants, and artisans from other parts of the empire.
Lutetia was then a provincial city, well equipped with Roman infrastructure, but it did not rival the great Roman metropolises such as Lugdunum, Lyon, or Massilia, Marseille, in terms of population. Its status as a river and commercial crossroads on the Seine, however, favored stable development, preparing the city for a more ambitious future.